morning, you magnificent melon hits. Happy Tuesday. It is 9:15. Market opens in 15 minutes. Looks like there's been an eventful morning. I'm pretty sure it was a good morning, although I have my doubts. But I'll take any good news I can get. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Got my wake-up juice in hand. We will struggle through the opening of the eyes together. I'm not a morning person, but we're going to go through this anyway. Gotta say hello to everybody. Gotta say hi, Mom. I love you. Thank you for watching. Mom watches my live streams, even though she doesn't care about market opens. God bless her. I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat this morning. Big Ugly MF, how are you doing today? Tom Stencil, Rich Dyer, Angel Soul, Neil Hahn, over here, Mark Schwartz, the Stump Grinder, Cole Marsh, Mish, the moderators in the house. All right. Kyle N, Greg, Gary Kelly, Wide Winger. All right, we got a couple of new faces in here too. New names, not faces, new names. Welcome, everybody. So the big news, it looks like, at least they're reporting in the press, that some Russian troops have been pulled back from the border with the Ukraine. All right. I say it appears and it looks like and may have, because who knows? The press is just absolute doo-doo lately. So I got to question everything I'm heard. However, it's good news, or if true, it is good news. So let's take the W, right? Let's call this one a win. At least the story goes that following completion of some military exercises, a small amount of Russian troops have been redeployed from the western border back to their permanent bases further in Russia. All right, so that is the story that is being reported. Keep in mind, this story yesterday and over the weekend was Wednesday. Wednesday is war day. We're going to war on Wednesday. That's when they're going to invade. All right, and I don't know where the Wednesday thing came from. Nobody knows. I'm not even sure if Vladimir Putin knows where Wednesday came from. All right. But for whatever reason, it looks like there has been some movement, or there appears there has been some movement in a positive direction. Markets like the news, and we see a risk on trade going on today. We're seeing bonds, yields are headed higher. That means bond prices are heading lower, or at least in that direction. I haven't checked in the last minute or so. Gold and silver are selling off. The stocks are rallying, and the NASDAQ in particular is rallying harder. So, folks, this is a risk-on rally that's going on right now. All right. So, with that in mind, let's shrink my big, fat melon of a head, and let's see a little bit about what is going on in here. 9:18. We are 12 minutes from market open. Let's see what the futures are doing. The S&P looks like 1.17%. The Dow just under 1%. That this is in the upward direction. And, of course, the NASDAQ outperforming. I said this was a risk-on rally, so the tech stocks are going to do better as they are higher risk investments, almost 1.6%. Crude is selling off a little bit, as you would expect on any good news coming out of Eastern Europe. Crude is down about $3, although still well above that $90 threshold. And then gold selling off about 0.75%, and silver selling off very hard, as you would expect just about any given morning, selling off almost 3% right now. Silver selling off hard. The euro is rallying a little bit versus the dollar. The VIX is falling, and the 10-year bond, the 10-year treasury, is up 4 basis points to 2.04. So that is what we're at for right now for the morning. We will revisit these numbers as we go. Real quick, let's just do this live update that's going on. This is on Fox News. Moscow reportedly seen returning some troops to bases, according to live updates. And let's just scroll down a little bit here. Germany's leaders meeting with Putin in Moscow to discuss Ukraine. UK's foreign minister sounds off on reports. This is Dmytro Kuleba. I can't pronounce the name, or Kuleba. I apologize, Dmytro. On Russian statements regarding withdrawal of some forces from the Ukrainian border, we in the Ukraine have a rule. We don't believe what we hear. We believe what we see. If a real withdrawal follows these statements, we will believe in the beginning of a real de-escalation. So some skepticism there. Also some skepticism from NATO. So far, we have not seen any sign of de-escalation on the ground from the Russian side. That's according to NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. And an hour ago, we had Russian tanks on the move. What do we say? This video is taken. Okay, this is just like a Getty image. All right. So that's the press story. Some optimism and some skepticism. Most of the skepticism is on the West side of things. I have mentioned this Twitter feed a couple of times in some previous streams, this OSINT Technical on Twitter. This is an excellent stream. If you want real-time, up-to-date information on military movements and things developing, this is a great channel to follow. I check this one several times a day because I think this is where we'll hear first if something does light off. So he has said, this is an hour ago, a lot of Russian forces are still either gathering near the Ukrainian border or heading towards it. And they're talking about here that I guess there's some movement within 16 miles of the Ukrainian border. And then here is this one 4 hours ago. So Russia moved half of their ready army and got absolutely nothing apart from a strengthened NATO presence in Eastern Europe. Allow me to express my skepticism at the current withdrawal news. So this guy is not buying the news of the withdrawal, saying, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying if they actually are, this was a massive blunder, which is certainly not something you would expect from Vladimir Putin. Say what you want about the guy. He's not someone that's known for massive blunders. He's aggressive, he's terrifying, but he's not a blunderer. Which comes back to the skepticism part. Last month they announced they were withdrawing units, and look where that went. Okay, so we have more skepticism from this feed, who I have come to know and respect. So there's that. Also, I saw something on Twitter here, and this just made me laugh. This is 4 hours ago from Breaking Live. Vladimir Putin has playfully questioned what time war is going to start, according to the Kremlin, in response to dates set by the West for an alleged invasion of Ukraine. So Putin appears to be trolling the Western media a little bit here. And then I had this quote from Boris Johnson. We are on an edge of a precipice, but there's still time for President Putin to step back. We are on an edge of a precipice. That's from Boris Johnson. We're on the edge of a precipice. So I hereby nominate Boris Johnson to head up the Department of Redundancy Department when he's no longer Prime Minister. So those two quotes right there just kind of goes to show you the differences in leadership between Russia and some of the NATO countries. I mean, look, Vladimir Putin is playing checkers, or Vladimir Putin is playing chess, and our guys are playing checkers. At least they're trying to play checkers, except, Biden keeps putting the checkers in his mouth. Justin Trudeau keeps shouting, "King me," even though the game hasn't started yet, and Boris Johnson keeps insisting he wants to buy Boardwalk. So it's just a little slight lack of leadership on the part of the West. We'll leave it at that. So the other thing I say, whenever there's news in Western Europe, look for confirmation with a move in Dutch TTF natural gas. And we did get a move lower, about 9% lower in Dutch gas today. So that tells me maybe there is some truth to the news of the Russian troops pulling back, because that would obviously be very good news for European energy security, which would send these futures lower. So there is my morning analysis of the news coming out of Russia. Now, real quick, let's just revisit some of the numbers here, because we are getting closer. We are now 6 minutes away from market open. S&P still up 1%. Dow about 0.8. NASDAQ 1.5. So it looks like this rally might be losing a little bit of steam here, although the sell-off in oil keeps gaining steam. Gold getting a little bit of a bounce here. Maybe found a floor. Silver, no end in sight. Still heading lower. And the 10-year now at 2.03. All right. So real quick, we have to revisit the chart. Here we are, folks. This is the chart. If you've been following this channel, you know all about the chart. This is the 10-year Treasury. This is my doomsday chart. Although I guess that's a little fuddy. That might be a little clickbaity, my doomsday chart. Suffice it to say, if we cross above this purple line that I'm always highlighting, bad things tend to happen. And we are within a few points of that purple line. We're at 2.03. The purple line is somewhere around 2.2 right now. So again, we watch this one every day. Yields have just absolutely made a beeline for that purple line since the start of the year. They're heading higher, and we've had a lot of jawboning from the Fed about some very aggressive moves, although we have yet to see any very aggressive moves from the Fed. Again, watch what the Fed does, not what the Fed says. The Fed has been talking a very big game, but thus far they have not really kept up with their promises. That doesn't mean I don't think they're going to hike. I do think they're going to hike. Now, I haven't heard anything out of this emergency meeting that the Fed called on Monday. I guess that meeting is still going on, but there has not been any press releases or any press conferences or anything from that meeting yet. So if I hear anything, you guys will be the first to know. So that is about all I got to say about that. Let's see a couple of the comments we've got here. 10 years over 2%. TikTok until something breaks, says Litecoin Leader. I agree with that statement, Litecoin Leader. By the way, I liked your comment in the in my Bitcoin bubble video from yesterday. By all means, if you want to do a reaction video, that would be awesome. And I would be happy to share that. Don't pull any punches. We don't do echo chambers here. Check out Litecoin Leader's channel, by the way, folks. He does a lot of crypto. It's a good channel. Give him a follow. Saber rattling, I agree. There's plenty of saber rattling going on both sides. M&J Poodles loves the checkers analogies. Thank you. I was pretty proud of that one. The Durham report, we're not going to get into that one, Neil Hahn, although I could talk about that one for days. If I was not on my YouTube channel, I would. But along those lines, if we could wax a little political a little minute, I got to talk about what's going on in Canada, folks. What the heck is going on in Canada? All right. Say what you want about the truckers. Say what you want about the mandates. All right. It's an unfortunate situation, but what on earth is that little pansy thinking? Pardon my strong language, but he is. I mean, he is just such a little. All right. I'm going to move on. What is he thinking? All right. Freezing the assets of political dissidents. This is Canada we're talking about. We are not talking about North Korea. We're talking about Canada. Freezing the assets of political dissidents. Okay? Is that what we do to people who disagree with us now? First, we take away their livelihoods. Then we seize all their stuff. You know what's next, right? You fire them. You take their stuff. You put them in jail. Right? That's where this goes. What are they thinking? Is Justin Trudeau purposely trying to engineer a bank run in Canada? Because that's how you get a bank run. All right? When you tell half the country, if you disagree with me, I'm going to freeze your assets and take your money, you know what they're going to do? They're going to run to the bank and they're going to get their money out. And I don't think Canada's banks keep enough cash on hand to satisfy that many withdrawals all at once. That's how you get a bank run, you idiot. You stupid, little, effeminate, beta male idiot. I'm sorry, I know I say I don't do politics here, but sometimes I can't help it. What a schmuck. What an absolute schmuck is running that country right now. And what does he think is happening? What does he think is going to happen when you tell your political opponents, I'm going to freeze your assets unless you do what I want? What an idiot. And I hope, I don't know, part of me hopes they have a bank run, like as a warning to the next complete imbecile who thinks that's a good idea. Part of me hopes there's a bank run in Canada. But at the same time, a bank run in Canada would be awful for everybody because it would spread to all the other markets. It would spread to American banks. What is he thinking? How stupid do you have to be? Those banks don't keep enough money on hand, folks. It's like what is it, 7-1, 8-1? I don't even know what the reserve requirements are, how much cash these banks are required to keep. But I tell you, it wouldn't take much more than 4 or 5% of Canadians run into the bank to take their money out to cause those banks to fail, to cause an absolute bank run. What on earth is that idiot thinking? My goodness. Anyways, guys, I apologize for the strenuous nature of my prior comments. But geez, I just got really fired up when I saw that yesterday, and I knew I was going to have to talk about it today, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to contain myself, but I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I see Mike Robin. Thank you very much, sir, for the super chat, for your support of the channel. Mike Bender, again, I call him Mike Robin all the time because Robin RC Models. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Make Nobody Special politics channel. Oh, dear, Drew. I don't think I can do a politics channel. I'll end up with my assets frozen. If the trucker thing catches on elsewhere, we're going to have empty shelves sooner than we think. And we know 828, the trucker thing, has caught on elsewhere already. I mean, the press doesn't do a very good job of covering it, but there is widespread social unrest all over the world right now over these restrictions. And a lot of the leaders, especially in Europe, especially in the northern part of Europe, like the Norwegian areas, they're rolling back the mandates and the restrictions as fast as they can, or as fast as they can while saving face, because they see what's playing out in Canada and they're terrified of that happening, right? And you're even seeing it here in the States, in the schools. They're starting to roll back these requirements for these stupid face diapers, which, by the way, nobody is wearing them anymore. Why are the kids the only ones who are wearing these stupid face diapers anymore? The ones who are least at risk are the only ones who still have to wear them? Anyone? Anyone? I just throw them out there, folks. You do what you want. I just throw them out there. I'm so sick of putting those things on my kids. I am so sick of it, of seeing them come home with their beautiful faces covered up. It kills me. Anyway. YouTube account, hey Jack, have a look at Vanka and CCP, 50% bigger than Evergrande, and now in a war for its survival, according to its CEO. Okay, I am somewhat lapsed in the covering of the Evergrande story, although I don't think the Evergrande story has gone away, YouTube account. But what's going on is China is very slowly nationalizing everything in the development business. And watch out for the local government finance vehicles in China. I read an article recently about how since the developers have stopped buying land and stopped doing as much borrowing and building, you're seeing these local government finance vehicles, which are basically shell companies set up by local governments in order to borrow money from themselves. Yeah, it's as messy as it sounds. Well, they have drastically stepped up their purchases of land since the developers have gone down, which means all of this reckless borrowing has just shifted from these developers to the regional governments, because the regional governments get almost all of their revenue from land sales. So there's something like $11 trillion in this LGFV debt in China now, and I'm starting to see there's this contradictory thing going on in China where the regulators are telling the banks, you need to be more responsible who you lend to, and you need to keep credit alive so the economy doesn't crash. But at the same time, you need to be more careful who you lend to. And then at the same time, the local governments are saying to the developers, you need to be more careful with your borrowing. And then the local governments are borrowing hand over fist to offset that. So I think the problem is just shifting from one side of the economy to the other. And I think that's going to cause problems. So that is very much still alive and still out there. All right, it is 9:33. Let's take a look at market open. What do we have today? 10-year at 2.04. The S&P has opened up 51 points, or 1.16%. The Dow is up 373 points, 1.08%. Looks like it's heading higher. NASDAQ is the big winner, up 222 points, 1.6%, and heading higher. Crude continues its sell-off, now right around $92. Big drop at open there. Look at that. Gold seems to have found a bottom at $18.55. And let's see what silver is up to. Silver still heading lower, $23.20, now down 65 cents an ounce. So the shiny is going on sale again today. Bitcoin found a little bit of a bid yesterday, now at $44,000. Not surprising after all the money the brokerages spent on advertising yesterday. By the way, I have to talk about something. A lot of people were talking in my video yesterday about Bitcoin is advertising and crypto is advertising. It's not crypto that's advertising. There is no Bitcoin entity. Bitcoin is a network of computers with no affiliation to each other. What you have with this advertising, this is the brokerages. This is the applications that are advertising their crypto services. They're not advertising their coins or their tokens. So it's just one difference I didn't point out in my video yesterday. It's not a condemnation of Bitcoin or of cryptocurrency that all these ridiculous apps are advertising on the Super Bowl. It's a condemnation of those ridiculous apps, and it's a sign that those apps have grown too far, too fast, and that I think there is a bubble in the process of popping going on in the crypto space. And again, before you jump down my throat, you crypto maxis, we've been here before, we've seen it before, and the currency survives and comes back stronger next time. I just think we're at that point in this cycle that has now repeated itself 3 times. I have no reason to doubt that that cycle will continue. Okie dokie. You know what? The whole time I was talking there, I didn't have my chart up. I apologize, guys. All right, going back to the comments, we have got so many comments. Good morning, everybody. Where is anyone storing their cash or coins? Nowhere is safe, I feel. Says Barb G. Barb, are we talking about crypto or are we talking about precious metals? The safest method is always if you hold it, you own it, right? That goes for precious metals. That goes for your private keys and your crypto, right? The worst place you can store your crypto is on the exchange. I've been banging the table on that since I started this channel. Get your coins off of Coinbase. Don't leave your coins on the exchanges. The safest place is in a hardware wallet in cold storage. I use the Ledger Nano X. Full disclosure, there's an affiliate link in the description to this video. Again, that's an affiliate link, but I use that. I like it. I'm comfortable with that. Midnight gardening is always an option, folks. Just maintain your own personal security also, because there's pros and cons no matter where you store it. If you leave it in some third-party storage, you have counterparty risk. If you leave it in a safe deposit box, the bank could always seize your stuff from the safe deposit box. If the bank fails, if you store it at your house, well, now you've made it yourself a bullseye. So it's a personal decision, all right? And there's pros and cons, and it depends on the individual. So I can't tell you where to put it. That's, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do your own research, your own DD. All right, moving on. We've got, didn't a money printer burn down in Europe somewhere? It says death by debt. I hadn't heard about that one, a money printer burning down. Imagine the irony. My sock drawer for now says M&J Poodles. How do I get your socks, M&J? Beside your weapon, says Cole Marsh. And that's why if you're going to stack gold and silver, you should stack a little bit of lead also. Be creative, Barb, and don't tell anyone. Yes, that is also a very good advice. Who was that? That was Death by Debt. Very good advice, sir. CEXs were advertising, says Litecoin Leader. Centralized exchanges. Okay, I wasn't familiar with CEXs. Thank you for clarifying. And yes, that's centralized exchanges are a terrible idea. They are contrary to Satoshi's original vision, and centralized exchanges is where all the fraud resides. That's where all the risk resides. That's where the governments are going to target crypto by going after those centralized exchanges. So I don't have a lot of confidence in the exchanges. And if you look at all these issues, all the frauds that have come up, Mt. Gox, BitConnect, OneCoin, right? It's all the exchanges is where the fraud happens. There have been some of these altcoin rug pull, pump and dump frauds, but most of the actual fraud is happening at the exchanges. So be very wary of where you get your crypto and where you store it once you have it. Over here says, I'm waiting for gold to drop another $30. That's interesting. I'm not sure about the $30 number. Let's shrink me. Let's look at a gold chart. What happens in $30? Who said that? That was over here. Thank you, over here. Let's see what happens to gold at $30. Here's my gold chart. We're at 1853 right now. So what happens around 1823 that you're looking at there? Okay, I see that. I see that line you're drawing there. Let's put that line in there. That was very good. Again, who was that? That was over here. How do we put a line here? Let's put a line right around 1823. Yahoo Finance is terrible for drawing lines. Right around there. I think we'll probably move that up a little. Oh, no, that's 1847. Right around there, I think, is where you were talking about. I can see that. I see your previous resistance becoming support there. Is that right about what you were talking about over here? Yeah, that's a decent level if you're looking at a short-term trade. Again, the other thing I would say, look at this like year-and-a-half long consolidation pattern going on in gold here. When it finally breaks out of this channel, my goodness, the move is going to be absolutely glorious, and I just can't wait to see that happen. probably doesn't happen for a couple of months at least. Though I wouldn't mind if it happened today, folks. All right. Folks, while you're here, I have to remind you, I'm sure I have Mish texting me right now on my hip while everything's going on saying, tell everybody to like and subscribe to your channel. It would really help me out. And tell all your friends about me. All right, let's see one more time. We are at 9:40. Market's been open for 10 minutes. Let's see if this rally has any legs. It looks like it's consolidating a little bit, but still Dow up 440. NASDAQ still up 1.6. Oil heading lower, 91.40. Wonder where oil's going today. Keep your eye on that one. And silver still heading lower. And the 10-year still at 2.04, making up its mind. One more time, folks, just want to remind you there are still a few spots left for the Ninja Nation Speak Freely event in Dallas-Fort Worth on March 5th. I'll be there along with the Economic Ninja and Joe Brown from Heresy Financial, along with several other of your favorite financial YouTubers. Bill Holter will be there. Chris Taylor from Financial Fitness. Great bunch of guys. The VIP event the night before is now sold out. Unfortunately, we are limited by fire code for that event, so we can't take any more tickets for that part of the event, but there are still some tickets left for the main event on Saturday. And again, there's a link in the description if you want to check that out. I highly recommend it. The last event we did in Denver was a great time. And really quick over here, there's a little bit of disagreement going on in the Federal Reserve. I wanted to talk about this one today. The Fed is split over the opening rate bid and may put weight on February data. Now, this is something that the Fed kind of always does. The Fed likes to play good cop, bad cop in the press. And I think they kind of do it just to put feelers out there and to see how the markets react and to see what the analysts say when they do it. And right now, bad cop is this guy, James Bullard. All right, he's been out in the press saying our credibility is on the line. We need a 100-point rate hike by July. He's calling for a 50-point rate hike right away. All right, so Bullard is just bad cop. This is scripted acting that goes on. It's coordinated. It's coordinated messaging. You always have one guy who's trying to be a little more hawkish, and then one will be a little more dovish, and they'll see what the market reacts to. So I don't think we're going to see a 50-point rate hike in March. It's not to say it's off the table. My personal opinion is we get that 25 basis points. We may get that first 25 basis point this week. Again, there's that meeting going on, that emergency meeting that the Fed called that is in progress. I don't know what's going to come out of that. But just know when you see Bullard is out and he's talking about we need 100-point rate hikes by June or by July, again, this is scripted messaging. So it doesn't mean they're definitely going to do that. He is just carrying the water for the hawkish side of things right now. So keep that in mind. All right. Well, with that, guys, it is about a quarter of. I think we are going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning. Thank you for watching. And don't forget, check out the link to that Speak Freely event in Dallas on March 5th. And until next time, live small and dream big.